Lakshmi Shah, sir, I made you co-host.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Krishna ji, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good
evening,
And
everyone.
make go.
Yes, sir, I made him. I made him.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
So
Deshi
that
ji. Welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah. I made it go live on YouTube also.
okay. Kindly mute those who are speaking.
Could you repeat? I couldn't hear.
There are many who are speaking loudly. Kindly mute their microphone.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Friday evening study class of the Mahatma Letters. Before we start, let's join together in the universal invocation. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who knows himself as one with thee know he's also one with every other. So today we begin our study of the letter, Mahatma letter 114, I think it is. And there were 7 queries in it, out of which we have finished 1 query. Our speaker today, as in the continuation of the last session, is Sri N.C. Krishna. Briefly to introduce him, he is a very long-term member. He joined the society at the age of 16. He is currently the secretary of the Rayalaseema Theosophical Federation and also executive council member. His maternal grandfather was his inspiration when he lived in Adyar to join the Theosophical Society. He's deeply well-read, and it's a joy to listen to him. So please, sir, welcome and continue. Please continue your session. Thank you.
Good evening, dear brothers. At the outset, I would like to correct a fact which was, perhaps I mentioned it sometime back, long time ago. I ceased to be the Federation Secretary from the year 2019. So the current office bearers should not feel otherwise, because I'm not the Rayalaseema Theosophical Federation Correspondent Secretary now. Federation Secretary now. Right. We'll start with the part 2 of the letter number 25. We are commencing at the stage where the master is answering the queries or questions raised by Mr. Sinnett. Master says that he would take up the query number 1 straight away, directly. So the question is related to the change of occupation of the being or the person in Devchan. Whether the change is there, if so, whether the change is continual or continuous is perhaps the question raised by Mr. Sinnett. Master says, a man or woman normally follows a pattern while living his or her life on earth. But there is one difference, says the master. Devchani, the person who is living in Devchan, has a special occupation in Devchan. What is it? Master says that occupation is pleasant and rapturous. That occupation is pleasant and rapturous. Rapture is a state of intense happiness and bliss. So that's what Master says. There's a difference, and the occupation of Devchani in Devchan is pleasant and rapturous. So that's a state of intense happiness and bliss. Devchanic time is like the harvest time, says the master. Devchanic time, or the time spent by a being or a person with Devchani, is like a harvest time after good seeds have been sown during the life of that person while living on earth. So the entire thing depends on how we have lived our life on earth. And so Master says Devchanic time is like the harvest time after good seeds have been sown during the life of the person while he led the life on earth. Master says there is no misery, no sorrow, no failures, no disappointments in Devchan. This is very comforting idea. There is no misery, no sorrow, no failures, no disappointments in Devchan. And for one single moment of ideal happiness or blissful experience of earth, say, there will be infinite number of developments, incidents, events, says the master. I'll repeat this sentence once again. For one single ideal moment of happiness or blissful experience on earth, there will be infinite number of developments, incidents, events, says the master. As assumed by Mr. Sinnett, one single moment of happiness will not be prolonged as some erroneously imagine. This question has been raised in letter number 25, even earlier letters 24, A, B, C, etc. So one single moment of happiness will not be prolonged as some erroneously imagine, says the master. All the infinite developments are based on one single ideal moment of happiness on earth. So this ideal moment is one. It is one in number. The results are many in Devchan. This is the information given by the master to Mr. Sinnett. The ideal moment is one on earth, number one single moment on earth, but the results are many in Devchan. Master says it will be almost like a dreamer's fancy. Master says it will be almost like a dreamer's fancy. One musical note of a musical kind produced an instrument. He has mentioned the instrument lyre, L-Y-R-E, is the cause for limitless musical tones of harmony. One musical note of a musical kind of variety produced in an instrument, say veena for example, is the cause for limitless musical tones of harmony. Simply, the infinite blissful moments will be like a sequence of pleasant sequences or pleasant images, like they are part of a beautiful dream. This is what the master says. And such will be the subjective existence, or to elaborate on the word subjective, it is metaphysical or psychic existence or living that will be possible in Devchan. These are the dreams of one's real objective existence on earth. These are the dreams of one's real objective existence of earth. For the objective existence of earth, for the seeds he has sown during the life when he has led on the earth, he gets the harvest or he gets the results in Devchan. So this is how Master has explained it. Such will be the realities of nature of one's Devchanic life, says the Master. A general remark here, Master says, as a general remark, Master says here, the adepts are capable of seeing through the secrets of a person or pierce through the veils of Maya and illusions. They, meaning adepts, can also see the deceptive appearances of a person. We need to be really what we are. It means we need to be really what we are or what we would like to be, and not put on an appearance before the master or appear too good so that master will take note of us. We may get away with mortals like this, with this behavior. We can't mislead the adepts. This is a general remark he has given, wherein he says the adepts are capable of seeing through the secrets of a person or pierce through the veils of Maya or illusion. They, adepts, can also see the deceptive appearances of a person. So we need to take care of this. Query number 2. What is the meaning of a cycle, or what is meant by a cycle is the next question raised by Mr. Sinnett. Master says the meaning of a minor cycle is completion of one's journey till the 7th round. Master says in reply to the question, what is the meaning of a cycle or what is meant by cycle? He says, Master says, meaning of a minor cycle is completion of one's journey till the 7th round. This was explained previously, says the Master. In addition, at the completion of the 7 rounds, the full remembrance of the Devachanic experiences taking place at the end of each birth or at the end of each personal life will be available to the person who is completed the 7th round. The details of the complete recollection of lives, that is of earth and Devachanic life, will be available to that person or being at that time. That person becomes all-knowing, remembers all details. In fact, he has used the word omniscient, so to say. So this is how the person will become at the end of the 7th round. That's the completion of a minor cycle as explained by Master. The state of knowing all will be possible at the end of the 7th round, as you have just seen. 7 by 7 of the 7th root race. We have 7 sub-races, 7th round, 7 by 7 when completed. That will be the end of the 7 rounds. If someone reaches the stage of Arhat, this is another important information he has given. If someone reaches the stage of Arhat or Bodhisattva in between, that means before the 7th round or 7 by 7 is complete, somebody through his sadhana becomes an Arhat or a Bodhisattva, that someone, that person, that being is in possession of the knowledge of the earthly and Devachanic life. Master says the person who has completed 7 rounds of the 7th root race will be at the threshold of Nirvana. And Arhat, we all know, is a person who has reached perfection and one who has attained the spiritual enlightenment. Or he can also be described as one who has understood the true nature of his own nature and the nature of the universe in which he lives. Arhat is one who is free of desire. Arhat is one who is free of desire. He has no baggage of karma. He has no baggage of karma, so no rebirth for him. This is the description of Arhat as given in the letter. Bodhi means wisdom. Bodhi means wisdom. Bodhisattva is one who, having attained that wisdom, reaches Buddhahood and works for the benefit of the entire universe, says the Master. Bodhi is wisdom, and Bodhisattva is one who, having attained that wisdom, reaches Buddhahood and works for the benefit of the entire universe, says the Master. Now, coming back to our 7th rounder or 7th round or the 7th root race, if one has completed all births, that person will have to wait longer than the one who completes the last 7th round during a later period. The man who reaches fast or reaches the 7th round, completes the 7th round, he has to wait for everybody else also to join him. This is something which has been mentioned in the letter. All evolve together, move and meet in a zone where there is no need to take birth again. All evolve together, move and meet in a zone where there is no need to take birth again. So this is talking about the 7th rounders or 7th root race and 7th round completed. Such person. The person who has traversed between the minor pralaya and nirvana. If there is one person who has traveled between minor pralaya and nirvana, he is virtually God, that is godly in nature, says the master. He is omniscient, all-knowing, a conscious being, and eligible to become a Dhyan Chauhan. So this is the description he has given about a person who has traversed between the minor pralaya and nirvana, and he virtually becomes God, or he becomes godly in nature, says master. He is omniscient, all-knowing, a conscious being, and eligible to become a Dhyan Chauhan. Master suddenly realizes that he's giving out too much of information or giving out the mysteries of initiation. So he stops at that. And we'll just see what exactly nirvana means. Nirvana, master says, is nothing to do with the recollection of objective details of births, living and passing. Nirvana, master says, is nothing to do with the recollection of objective details of births, living and passing. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are forgotten. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are forgotten. It's a state where one is with Parabrahman. Parabrahman. That's the correct way of pronouncing Parabrahman. It is a state of absolute rest and one of assimilation and understanding. This is what it is as given by the master. Nirvana, master says, is nothing to do with the recollection of the objective details of births, living on earth, and passing away. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are forgotten. It is a state where one is with Parabrahman. It is a state of absolute rest and one of assimilation and understanding. It's a stage of becoming one with Parabrahman, master says. Master says it's a pity that these philosophical truths are not quite understood by the West. And even the greatest of intellectuals are not able to seize or understand the spirit of these teachings, says the master. Master says it's a pity that these philosophical truths are not quite understood by the West, and even the greatest of intellectuals are not able to seize or understand the spirit of these teachings. In a way, it was the Theosophical Society was founded to give the Eastern wisdom to the Westerners. That was the original object of the Theosophical Society. Now, going to the third question, Mr. Sinnett asks whether there will be intimate relationship between two entities in Devchan. Mr. Sinnett is asking a question whether there will be intimate relationships between two entities in Devchan. Master says relationship of mutual nature. Relationship of mutual nature is a fact of nature in physical life. While living on earth, two like-minded souls will each work with their sensations, tastes in Devchan. Suppose two people are interested in poetry, maybe they'll have the life together in the sense moments together, not have that intimate relationship which Mr. Sinnett is suggesting. Master says relationship of mutual nature is a fact of nature in physical life. Two like-minded souls will each work with their sensations, tastes in Devchan. Most of this work is subjective, and the bliss which is shared also is subjective. This subjective bliss cannot be felt in actual physical terms. This subjective bliss cannot be felt in actual physical terms. Normally, one is not connected with the other Normally, one is not connected with the other as regards the actual mutual relationship in Devchan. Normally, one is not connected with the other as regards the actual mutual relationship in Devchan. The two entities are subjective entities, not objective, physical, says the master. The togetherness or companionship are not materially cognizable, as the entities are in the mental plane, having mental bodies or forms. The mental body is thinner than the ethereal body. The body is made of thought matter. The body is made of thought matter. So it is thinner than the ethereal body. These are all some of the interesting details Master has given while explaining the Devchanic content. For example, some people who are interested in bhajan, says Anna Besant in her book, that they will be together. They are interested in bhajan, so they will be perhaps linked together subjectively, not objectively. This is something which we need to keep on remembering. There's no objectivity there. It's all subjective, and they come together to share the tastes and sensations of what they have. Going to the fourth question. The fourth question is perhaps where APS Mr. Sinnett is asking whether Devchan is a location. A lot of people have this question. Fourth query, perhaps, of Mr. Sinnett is whether Devchan is a location. Master replies, Devchan is a state, not a locality or a destination. The question is whether Devchan is a location, and Master replies, Devchan is a state, not a locality or a destination. Master says there are three spheres, Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka, called Tribhuvana. These are in ascending order of spirituality. The matter and spirit are in ascending order. There are several groups of subjective entities that find their attractions in these spheres. There are several groups of subjective entities that find their attractions in these spheres. What are the three spheres he talked about? The Kamaloka, the Rupaloka, and the Arupaloka. These are the spheres. They are arranged in an ascending order of matter and spirit. And then he is talking about shells. Leadbeater also talks about shell in the textbook of Theosophy. Shells. The victims of suicides live in Kamaloka. This region is divided into innumerable mini regions, and depending on the state of people dying at the time of death, their feelings, they inhabit that region. So he's talking about shells, the victims of suicides. They live in Kamaloka. This region is divided into innumerable mini regions. Kamaloka is divided into many innumerable regions. And depending on the state of the people dying at the time of their death, they inhabit that particular region. Spiritualists, about whom we have studied in the Key to Theosophy and so many other literature, spiritualists operate with beings or entities living in this region. The spiritualist understanding is not perfect. This is what HPB wanted to explain to them when she visited those Sian's rooms at Chittendale. So spiritualists operate with beings or entities living in this region. The spiritualist understanding is not perfect, and their knowledge or the horizons of their knowledge are also not wide, they are limited and contracted. This is the words of the master. The spiritualists are not trained. The spiritualists are not trained and not guided by real knowledge, which is hidden, which is not available to all. The spiritualists are not trained and are not guided by real knowledge, which is hidden, which is not available to all. In the West especially, the spiritualists do not know all about Tribhuvanas. Tribhuvana is Kamaloka, Rupaloka and Arupaloka. Kama, Rupa and Arupa Lokas. The spiritualists talk to the world based on what they know. There's somebody at the door, she talked to me. I gave an ear. There was some time. My wife is not at home. The spiritualists talk to the world based on what they know, because their knowledge is limited, contracted is what Master has said. The spiritualists talk to the world based on what they know, which is imperfect, says the Master. They end up confusing others. Because they always felt that they're calling the right person, and they were perhaps calling a shade living somewhere in between the earth and the actual astral plane. So that's how they confuse others, says Master. So this is what he had to say about shells. And then there's a word used, a chiliocosm is the word used by the Master, is one which is comprising of many other worlds. World, prapancha, W-O-R-L-D, worlds. Not word, it's world. In the Kamaloka, when the person awakens, when the person awakens from the post-death slumber, post-mortem slumber, or a period of inactivity, each go on their way, or each person goes on their ways, depending on the attractions they have had while living a physical life. In the Kamaloka, when the person awakens from the post-mortem slumber or post-death slumber or a period of inactivity, they go their ways. Each individual goes on their ways depending on the attractions they have had in the physical. Then, depending on their lives they have led on earth, either go to Devchan or go to Avici. This we know. Avici is the opposite of Devchan. Depending on their lives they have led on the earth, either they go to Devchan or go to Avici. The two states of Devchan and Avici differ in degrees of spirituality in countless infinite ways. So both are entirely different. The states of Avici and state of Devchan are different. At the time of getting up from slumber, for moving forward, shells don't join that journey. Shells are left behind. So shells don't have a way to move forward. So at the time of getting up from slumber, that means a person who has committed suicide will not move either to Devchan or to Avici. He is stuck in between. We call it in Sanskrit Trishanku. Trishanku. He is not there in astral or not on the earth, but in between somewhere. So at the time of getting up from slumber, for moving towards the Avici or Devchan, the shells do not participate in the journey. They don't move. Master says, sensations and perceptions of Rupaloka, sensations and perceptions of Rupaloka will be less subjective and differ from the sensations of Arupaloka. Naturally, Arupaloka is still thinner, no form there. Rupa has some forms. So Master says, sensations and perceptions of Rupaloka will be less subjective, and differ from the sensations of arupa loka. Both differ in form, color, and substance, and also they differ in potentialities of formation and the nature of life which exists there. Both differ, that is, the rupa and the arupa loka, both differ in form, color, and substance, matter, and also they differ in potentialities, formation, and in the nature of life that exists in that state. So both are different. Rupa Loka is different from Rupa Loka. Of course, there is great difference between Avicii and Devchan. So that has been well explained. Now, Master is talking about Nirvana cannot be compared with Paranirvana. This is a statement generally he is making. Master says Nirvana cannot be compared with Paranirvana. Similarly, Devchanik Rupa Loka can't be compared in any way with Arupa Loka. So just to draw a simile, he has said that. So you cannot compare the Nirvana with Paranirvana. Nirvana is enlightenment and he continues to live. Paranirvana is a state where he has completed his journey and is remaining there and perhaps need not have to come back to life if not sent by the powers that be. So Master says Nirvana cannot be compared with Paranirvana. Similarly, there are Buddhic terms. Devchanik Rupa Loka can't be compared in any way with Arupa Loka. Then we move to the question number 5 or query number 5. He has raised about 7-8 questions and we're trying to not go into the complete details of each question and answer, but picked up the salient points so that we have the time which we have to really care for. And so not all the details have been taken in. Query 5 is regarding the revival of consciousness. This is the consciousness revival. Where does it take place is the query of Mr. Sinnett. Master replies, revival of the consciousness begins after the struggle in Kamaloka is over. Master replies, revival of consciousness begins. He realizes the consciousness while he is at the threshold of Devchan. So when he has completed the struggle in Kamaloka, that is over, then his consciousness is revived. The consciousness starts reviving at the entrance of Devchan, the threshold of Devchan, after a period of gestation of Kamaloka is over. So the person who passed away has spent time in Kamaloka and that gestation period is over, and then perhaps he goes through as if he's going through in an unconscious state. Not necessarily because he has to go through, work out all his desires, if he has had desires, attachments, if he has got attachments. So he has to complete all that. The struggle should be over there, and then he moves towards the consciousness of Devchan. So at Devchan, the consciousness begins to revive at the entrance of Devchan or at the threshold of Devchan. So the gestation of Kamaloka period, when it is over, then this takes place. This revival takes place of consciousness. Here, Master talks about the famous contradictions which number 24a deals with. Master talks about the famous contradictions which 24a deals with. Master says, candidates die and are reborn in Kamaloka without remembrance. Candidates die and are reborn in Kamaloka without remembrance. After that period is over in Kamaloka, the persons reach the threshold of Devchan. Here the person remembers, here at Devchan person remembers the spiritual life he has led while living on earth. When he has moved to the threshold of Devchan or he is part of Devchan, he then remembers the spiritual part of his life which he has led while living on earth. In proportion to the time spent during the earthly life, in that proportion, the ego retains the details of consciousness and the details of earth life. This is what the reply given by the master. In proportion to the time spent during the earth life, in that proportion, the ego retains the details of the spiritual life or the life led by that person while living on earth. Now, yes, we move to the question number 6 or query number 6. Master says the deduction of Mr. Sinnett was perhaps regarding the point whether one moment of earthly life and happiness is prolonged indefinitely in Devchan. Number of times he asked this question. He goes on asking this question. And again, as a 6th question, this is the query and deduction Mr. Sinnett has made. Whether one moment of earthly life and happiness is prolonged indefinitely in Devchan. Master says the question is unwarranted and it has been answered in the past, so not worth considering. Master says the question is unwarranted and it has been answered in the past, so not worth considering. Master says Devchan life is related to the unfinished psychic impulses originating from the earth life. Sometime back, they said the spiritual life of the earthly life will get reflected in Devchan. And here, Master says Devchan life is related to the unfinished psychic impulses, mental impulses originating from the earth life. The attractions of those persons, if they are more of material nature, such persons take rebirth quickly and go back to earth very soon. The attractions of those persons, if they are more of material nature, something to do with base desires and things like that, such persons take rebirth quickly and go back to earth. Master says it happens due to the power of tanha, T-A-N-H-A. You have this word in the voice of the silence also. Tanha. Tanha is desire, greed, and so many other things put together. And the desire to enjoy the material life, that is tanha. Master says concepts need to be understood with a different outlook. This is very important, what he says. Master says it happens due to the power of tanha, the attractions of the pulls of the earth. That is what is determining his going back to earth quickly. Tanha is desire, greed to enjoy material life. And after that, Master says concepts need to be understood with a different outlook. Concepts need to be understood with a different outlook. It should be understood in spiritual perspective using the spiritual eye. Master says concepts need to be understood with a different outlook. It should be understood in spiritual perspective using the spiritual eye. The metaphysical subjects cannot be understood with physical sense organs. The metaphysical subjects cannot be understood with physical sense organs. We need higher faculty related to higher life or of the higher plane, like intuition, which belongs to the 6th principle, the Buddhic plane. It should be understood in spiritual perspective. The concept should be understood in spiritual perspective using the spiritual eye. The metaphysical subjects cannot be understood with physical sense organs or even physical words. I don't think we can understand anything of that. Only when we consign those words to the mind and meditate on those words, maybe we have a fair share of understanding, and this meaning also keeps changing as we meditate on the same words again and again. Master says we need higher faculty related to higher life of the higher plane, like intuition, which belongs to the sixth principle, the Buddhic plane, of the Buddhic plane. Master says, listen not with the physical ears, listen not with the physical ears, but ear belonging to Dharmakaya. This is what he has said. Don't listen with your physical ears, but the ear belonging to the Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is one which has as its constituents wisdom, compassion, patience, strength of the mind of a Buddha-like entity. Dharmakaya. So it is not the physical ears which will help you to listen. Listen not with the physical ears, but the ear belonging to Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is one which has as its constituents wisdom, compassion, patience, strength of the mind of a Buddha-like entity. One should use and feel the sensations with spiritual understanding and awakening. One should use and feel the sensations with spiritual understanding and awakening. It is not with the personality based on I, one tries to understand the higher spheres sensations. One should use and feel the sensations with spiritual understanding and awakening. It is not with the personality based I, me, one tries to understand the higher spheres sensations. We need to put in action these higher faculties to understand fully the doctrine, says the Master. All the doctrine about Devchan, the content, the life, etc., etc. We need to put in action these higher faculties to understand fully the doctrine. If tried otherwise, if one tries to understand differently, the results will not be useful, helpful to follow or understand Devchan and its life, says the Master. So it is said, though you are in a crowd sometimes, if you are trained to close your astral ear, you will not hear the sound at all. If you are trained to close your physical eyes, you will not see what is available or what is happening before you. So something like that is what he has mentioned with Dharmakaya. Listening with the physical ear is not what you are supposed to do, but listen with the senses belonging to Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is one where there is wisdom, compassion, patience, strength of mind, one-pointedness, and so many things. So these are all possessed by person like Buddha-like entity. So this is a very important pointer. One should use and feel the sensation with spiritual understanding. Verbal understanding will not help us to go anywhere. So we have to understand the spirit behind it, the essence behind it. So one should use and feel the sensations of spiritual understanding and awakening. What should awaken? The wisdom should awaken within us to guide us properly to live the right kind of life. It is not with a personality-based I, one tries to understand the higher spheres sensations. It's not possible. Like we have considered last week, the finite cannot understand the infinite. Similarly, the higher spheres influence cannot be easily understood or not at all possible to understand using a lower medium. So we need to put in action these higher faculties to understand fully the doctrine. If tried to understand differently, otherwise, the results will not be helpful to follow or understand the Devachanic life and its contents. This is what Master says regarding the queries which he has answered succinctly. We have taken up 6 questions. There is a 7th question which was very long, which also talks about Devachanic life and other things which Master was paying attention to. And I had decided that too much will be too enormous for people to comprehend. So I will stop here and I would request Ma'am Vimala to take over.
Thank you so much, sir. I request Meenakshi ji to on her video so she can give the Hindi translation.
नमस्ते सभी को। थैंक यू ब्रदर कृष्णा जी। आज हम लेटर नंबर क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर नंबर 105 और लेटर नंबर 25 इसे ले रहे हैं, अगला भाग ले रहे हैं। मास्टर कहते हैं कि देवाचन में निरंतर परिवर्तन होता है। एक देवाचनी के लिए उसकी विशेष स्थिति हमेशा सुखद होती है और उसके जीवन को आनंद से भर देती है। वह स्वप्न जीवन तो केवल उन मानसिक बीजों के सुखानुभवों का समय है। वहां कोई असफलता नहीं, कोई निराशा नहीं। यदि मनुष्य के पास अपने जीवन के दौरान परिपूर्ण खुशी और अनुभव का केवल एक क्षण होता, जैसा कि आप सोचते हैं, तब भी यदि देवाचन है तो यह आपके गलत अनुमान के अनुसार उस एक क्षण का अनिश्चित विस्तार नहीं हो सकता, बल्कि अगणित विकास, विभिन्न घटनाएं और प्रसंग जो उस एक क्षण या क्षणों पर आधारित है। एक्सक्यूज मी। यह सब सपने देखने वाले की कल्पना को दर्शाता है। जीवन की वीणा से निकला वह एक स्वर जीव की भावात्मक अवस्था का मुख्य स्वर बनेगा और मानसिक भ्रमजाल के असंख्य लयबद्ध स्वरों और अर्ध स्वरों में साकारित होगा। वहां सभी असाकारित आशाएं, आकांक्षाएं, सपने पूर्णतः साकारित हो जाते हैं और इहलोकीय सपने अरूपलोकीय अस्तित्व की वास्तविकता बन जाते हैं। और वहां माया के पर्दे के पीछे इसके कल्पना और भ्रामक दिखावे को उस सिद्ध पुरुष द्वारा महसूस किया जाता है जिसने इस महान रहस्य को जान लिया है कि अस्तित्व के रहस्य में इतनी गहराई से कैसे प्रविष्ट किया जाए। अगले क्वेश्चन पर मास्टर कहते हैं कि माइनर साइकिल निश्चित ही 7वें राउंड का पूरा होना है, लेकिन सभी जीवनों का पूर्ण स्मरण अर्थात सर्वज्ञता केवल संपूर्ण 7 राउंड्स के महान अंत में आता है, जब तक कि कोई बीच काल में बोधिसत्व अरहत न बन जाए। निर्वाण की दहलीज माने अनिश्चित काल। माइनर प्रलय और निर्वाण के बीच या प्रलय से पहले उन्नत हुए व्यक्ति या जीवात्मा का जीवन सबसे महान पारितोषिक है। वास्तव में चूंकि वह एक जीवात्मा को, हालांकि वह कभी भी एक अडेप्ट नहीं हुआ होगा, लेकिन अपने अधिकांश जीवनों में मात्र एक गुण संपन्न पुण्यवान व्यक्ति होगा, वह वस्तुतः अनंत काल के लिए ईश्वर, सर्वज्ञ, सचेतन जीव एक कैंडिडेट बनता है, ध्यान चौहान बनता है। लेकिन निर्वाण का इहलोकीय यादों से क्या लेना देना? वह एक और भी उच्चतर अवस्था है और जिसमें सभी इहलोकीय चीजें भूल जाती है। यह चिर विश्रांति और परब्रह्म से एकाकार होने की अवस्था है। यह स्वयं परब्रह्म है। मास्टर कहते हैं कि पश्चिमात्य देशों के लोग इस दार्शनिक सत्यों को समझने में असमर्थ हैं। आगे के प्रश्न में मास्टर कहते हैं कि आप देवाचन में जीवों के बीच संपर्क की कल्पना करते हैं जो केवल भौतिक अस्तित्व के पारस्परिक संबंध पर लागू होता है। दो सहानुभूतिपूर्ण जीव प्रत्येक अपनी स्वयं की देवाचनीय संवेदनाओं को कार्यान्वित करेगी और दूसरे को अपने भावात्मक आनंद में भागीदार बनाएगी, लेकिन फिर भी वास्तविक पारस्परिक मेल मिलाप में प्रत्येक एक दूसरे से विभक्त है। दो आत्मापरक जीवों के बीच क्या संगति संपर्क हो सकता है जिसमें उस इथरीय छाया शरीर मायावी रूप के समान भी जड़त्व नहीं है। आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि देवाचन अवस्था है, स्थान नहीं। रूपलोक, अरूपलोक और कामलोक आरोही आध्यात्मिकता के 3 क्षेत्र हैं, जिसमें आत्मपरक जीवों के कई समूह अपना आकर्षण पाते हैं, इसमें खींचे जाते हैं। कामलोक में विपत्तिग्रस्त और आत्महत्या वालों के शेल्स और यह क्षेत्र असंख्य क्षेत्रों और उपक्षेत्रों में विभाजित है, जो मृत्यु के समय आने वालों की मानसिक अवस्थाओं के अनुरूप है। पश्चिम में कौन खरे सहलोक धातु को जानता है? वह रहस्यमयी चिलोकॉज्म, जिसके कई क्षेत्रों में से केवल 3 के बारे में भौतिक जगत को बताया जा सकता है। वह त्रिभुवन अर्थात कामलोक, रूपलोक और अरूपलोक है। कामलोक से एक बार अपने मरणोपरांत सुस्ती से जागने के बाद वे शेल्स को छोड़कर वे नव रूपांतरित जीव अपने अपने आकर्षणों के अनुसार या तो देवाचन या अविची में जाते हैं और यह 2 अवस्थाएं पुनः अनंत तक विभेदित होती है। रूपलोक में एक देवाचनी की संवेदनाएं, धारणाएं और विचार निश्चित ही अरूपलोक की तुलना में कम आत्मपरक प्रकृति की होगी, जिनमें से दोनों में देवाचनीय अनुभव उस जीव के लिए न केवल रूप, रंग और पदार्थ के संबंध में भिन्न होंगे, बल्कि उनकी रचनात्मक संभावनाओं में भी भिन्न रूप से प्रस्तुत होंगे। आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि कामलोक में संघर्ष के बाद और जेस्टेशन पीरियड के बाद देवाचन के द्वार पर चेतना का पुनरुज्जीवन होता है। देवाचन में स्थित होने का काल पृथ्वी जीवन में उत्पन्न होने वाले अधूरे मानसिक आवेगों के अनुपात में है। वे मनुष्य जिनके आकर्षण मुख्यतः भौतिक थे, वे जल्द ही तन्हा तृष्णा के जोर से जल्द ही पुनर्जन्म लेंगे। उच्चतर जीवन से संबंधित उच्चतर बोधक क्षमता इन विषयों को समझाती है और इसे किसी को केवल शब्दों द्वारा जबरदस्ती समझाना असंभव है। इस सिद्धांत को पूर्णतः समझने से पहले उसे अपनी दिव्य दृष्टि से देखना चाहिए, अपने धर्मकायिक कान से सुनना चाहिए, अपने अष्टविज्ञान यानी अंतरात्मा की संवेदनाओं से महसूस करना चाहिए। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
Thank you, Meenakshi ji. So, anybody has any questions? Krishna ji, you can open your video. Does anybody have any questions or any comments?
Hello, Namaskar. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Can I put one question?
Please, please. Can you on your video? I can spot. Jitendra ji. I think NC Krishna ji is not here. Yeah, he's here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But Krishna ji is not there, no?
No, Krishna ji has come back. I think he was connecting. Yeah, he's back.
I had a problem with my mobile, so I went out for some time. Was that a question or he made a statement?
No, he is yet to ask. Please go ahead.
Question. The master says The point made in reply 3 is quite clear. Apparently, Senate has asked whether two egos can be communication in Devachan. Two egos can be communication in Devachan, and KH replies that each will work out its own Devachanic sensation, making the other a sharer in its objective. This making the other a sharer in the subjective bliss, that is not understood, sir.
So do you want him to read it again? He's asking you to
Yes, I think he has made the question. The person who, the being or the soul which gets into the Devchan, in fact, the question was slightly different, and I put it as, is it possible for them to correlate or relate together and things like that? He says, Master says it's not quite possible that way, but suppose I'm someone who has had a fascination for poetry, say for example, another soul also perhaps has that similar fascination for poetry. We can exchange, or we can be having the sensations related to poetry and perhaps have an understanding between each other. That's exactly what perhaps he meant, because even Annie Besant talks about how in each of those divisions, each division, people who are connected to a particular field of activity on earth, they come together. So this is what perhaps Masters has said, that each individual has his own method of perhaps feeling the sensations, but together sharing the sensation subjectively means not objective sharing, subjective sharing. It's possible, and there is not that intense relationship of togetherness there. That's all what Master is talking about. Yes, there could be a person who is perhaps interested in the same faculty or same pattern like poetry or music, and other person also can be at the same. They both can share, but that's exactly what he said. The Master said about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Jitendraji, you would like to speak?
Yes, no questions, but I'd like to comment from my study, meditation, and discernment about the Nirvana. But the person can reach Nirvana even before we reach the seventh root trace. It's not that we reach Nirvana only on the seventh root trace. As the voice of the silence says, that when we reach Nirvana in this life, and we have two paths, either to go past that one and have a bliss eternally. And the Nirvanic person can decide to come back to say, no, I want to uplift humanity at large. So I'll come back, and he will be having the last body that when he reached Nirvana, he will continue with that body, continuously with that physical body. He does not go over and leaves the body. Unlike the other Nirvana people, and we call them very selfish people. They have reached Nirvana and they don't want to come back, and they are very selfish people. They are regarded very selfish. So another one is the Bodhisattva. So this is the person who wants to remain in that body, and he is known as a Bodhisattva. After reaching the Nirvana, so the one who has got the last body that he remained with, like I think I can give an example of Joal Kuhl, for example. Master Joal Kuhl has maintained that body, same body he's having it now, even when he reached that Nirvana stage. So even now is sometimes we call him Master Joal Kuhl also. So that's a Bodhisattva. This is my understanding. And on the Devachan level, it's a stage after the three deaths. We have a physical death, then we remain in the astral body for some years or weeks or months, depending upon what desires and emotions we had. So maybe about 40 years, some of them only 2 weeks. So on the average, we would say 40 years he remains in the astral body. Then there's a death again. So that one, he passes out from the astral body into the mental body. Then he remains in the mental body for some years or weeks or months, depending upon his mental activity during the while on the physical body while he was. So, and then that there'll be third death, that he passes out of the mental body. Then he goes to Devachan, and the Devachan is a place where there is bliss to await until the next reincarnation. So, two people getting together on Devachan is not possible because everybody has got a different way of physically how he acted, what he did, how much he stayed in the astral body and mental body, all different periods. So different periods, and so we are on a different rung of a ladder, every one of them. So no two men will be at Devachan to say, oh, and discuss, I'm going to be born, if I'm going to be born to this parents or that parent. And I says, no, I like to be on that one. So that sort of thing, discussion cannot be done. The Devachan, one person at a time on his own line. That is my understanding. Also, you know, there's letters of master's letters to Epicene. They actually came 25 years after the cremation of Synod, you know, Epicene. And meanwhile, Leadbeater and Annie Besant were made clairvoyant. And in that period of being clairvoyant, these sort of things were discussed. This is why we are having understanding of Annie Besant and Leadbeater's, what they've written about this deaths and Devachan and so forth. And then also we are now compare with the letters so that we can understand better what Master said and what Leadbeater said and Annie Besant said. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Krishna ji, would you like to respond or shall we end the meeting?
I think that's his way of putting it across. We're just following what Master has said, what the letter has said, what he talked about Nirvana, what is the state he has said. Master's method of explaining is what we have tried to touch upon. Of course, there could be someone, like, for example, what Leadbeater wrote about Devchan, maybe because there is a manual. I said on the first, last week also, I said there's a manual of Devchan explained. So that way, there may be more details and more. Annie Besant also has written about the life in Devchan, etc. So all these things are possible. Each one has a different perception or different understanding, and perhaps they put it across. So this is something which we are only reproducing what is conveyed by Master to Senate. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Now our time is up, so I would request Jayashree ji. One second, hold on, just a minute. To give us the closing prayer.
लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति.
Thank you, Jayashree ji. Thank you, Krishna ji. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. And thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Thank you.